I hit the silent alarm on my high school bully and he thanked me for it. It was mid-January, right in the middle of a brutal polar vortex. The streets were completely dead. I was doing inventory at 11 at night when the front door chime went off. A guy walked in wearing a heavy parka with the hood pulled low. He locked the deadbolt behind him and flipped the open sign to closed. I froze behind the counter. He walked up to the register and kept his right hand shoved deep inside his coat pocket. He was pointing something sharp at me through the fabric. He told me to empty the register. His voice was shaking badly. I recognized that voice immediately. It was Greg. We played junior varsity baseball together 12 years ago. He was the team captain, the guy who always had a new car and threw the biggest parties. He also used to make my life miserable in the locker room. I said his name. I asked him what he was doing. Greg flinched. He told me to shut up and put the cash in a bag. He said he had a pistol in his pocket and he would shoot me if I tried to hit the panic button under the counter. My heart was pounding in my ears. I opened the till. We only had about $200 in small bills. I started shaking as I put the money into a paper pharmacy bag. I told him he did not have to do this. I told him we could just talk about whatever was going on. He slammed his left hand on the counter. He screamed at me to hurry up and open the time delay safe in the back office. I told him the safe took 10 minutes to open. He said we were going to wait. He marched me into the back room. I sat on a folding chair while the timer ticked down. Greg paced back and forth in front of the door. He kept the weapon pointed at me through his heavy winter coat. He was sweating despite the freezing weather outside. He looked terrible. His skin was pale, his boots were duct taped together, and he smelled like stale alcohol and unwashed clothes. The silence in the back room was suffocating. I decided to try and reason with him. I stood up slowly from the chair. He panicked and took a step back, tripping over a stack of empty cardboard boxes. He went down hard. His right hand came out of his pocket to break his fall. A black plastic television remote skittered across the linoleum floor. I stared at the remote. It had missing buttons and duct tape holding the battery cover together. I looked back at Greg. He was sitting on the floor, staring at the plastic rectangle. He did not even try to reach for it. I asked him what the hell was going on. I asked him if he really just tried to hold up a pharmacy with a broken remote control. Greg put his head in his hands and started sobbing. He did not sound like the arrogant team captain anymore. He sounded like a frightened kid. He told me he lost his apartment 3 months ago. He had been sleeping in his car until the transmission blew, and then he was on the streets. The city shelters were completely full because of the blizzard. He told me the temperature was supposed to drop to negative 15 degrees tonight. He said he knew he would freeze to death if he stayed outside. He did not want the $200. He wanted me to hit the panic button. He wanted the police to come. He said the county jail had heat, a cot, and hot meals. He just needed to survive the winter. I stood there looking at the guy who used to shove me into lockers. I felt sick to my stomach. All the adrenaline drained out of me, leaving nothing but absolute pity. I picked up the television remote and set it on the desk. I went to the break room and made him a cup of black coffee. I handed it to him while he sat on the floor crying. I walked over to the security keypad on the wall. I asked him if he was absolutely sure this was what he wanted. He took a sip of the coffee, looked up at me with red eyes, and nodded. He thanked me. I hit the silent alarm. We sat in the back room in complete silence for 8 minutes until the police cruisers pulled up out front with their lights flashing. I walked out and unlocked the front door for the officers. Greg put his hands behind his back without putting up a fight. He looked entirely relieved as they put him in the back of the warm squad car.